Welcome to Chat Cafe. Today we are talking about surrogacy. I promised you, or I told you the last time, that we're bringing Akushika on the show again, and we have her on the show. We'll be talking about everything that involves surrogacy. If you have any other question that we don't cover, you can put it in the comment section, and she will answer them for you. Welcome again, Akushika. It's a pleasure having you on the show again.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
Okay, so right into the topic. Tell us what you know about surrogacy. What is it about?
Surrogacy is basically an individual or a couple deciding that they would like to have a child through somebody else. So they'd like for somebody else to carry a pregnancy to term for them.
Okay.
So once someone decides, or a couple decide that I'd like to get somebody to carry the pregnancy, and then once the child is born, the child becomes mine.
Okay.
That is what we term surrogacy.
Okay. So in your field, can you share some of the experiences you have encountered?
For experience with surrogacy, they vary. There's been a number of them that have come and gone. We've had surrogacy processes for people, a couple who want to use their own samples, and then someone just carries that child for them.
Can you clarify the sample for us?
Okay, so that will bring me into the types of surrogacy. Okay, so there are two distinct types of surrogacy. We have the traditional surrogacy, and then we have gestational carriers. And traditional surrogates are surrogates who go through a process where their own eggs, for surrogates it's just a woman, so their eggs is fertilized by either donor sperm or the sperm of the person or the couple, the husband of the couple that are asking her to carry pregnancy. And then the gestational carrier is one who is only carrying an embryo that is inserted or injected into her. So that embryo would be one that is either, if it's a couple, either the couple's egg and sperm that is fused together and then put in the womb of that surrogate to carry the pregnancy, or it could also be donor egg, donor sperm that is fused together and injected or inserted into the surrogate to carry the pregnancy. So one where it is the surrogate's own egg, that is what we term traditional surrogacy. And where it is the embryo that is introduced into the reproductive system of the surrogate, that is gestational carrier.
Okay. So tell us about, or give us an overview of your company or your agency with respect to surrogacy.
When you walk into our office, male, female, or a couple that want to have a child through surrogacy, what we want to know basically is what has brought them to this point where they do not want to carry themselves naturally and want to have somebody carry for them. We want to know what they want in a surrogate, because people have preferences of the type or kind of person they want carrying that pregnancy, that child for them. We want to know if they've been medically tested and if maybe infertility has already been diagnosed, and so that's why they're going through the process, whether they want to use their own samples or they want to use donor samples to have that child. Now, based on what they bring to our agency, we know which resources to connect them to. Someone comes in and says, well, I've not done any checks. I just know that I don't want to carry pregnancy. Or I've had a few miscarriages. I've been told that I'm not able to carry to term. Or a single male walks in and says, look, I've been waiting to find somebody to settle down with. It's not happening, but I want a child. I'm able to father a child. I just don't have a partner currently, but I'd like a child in my life. And so his own sample, his own sperm will be used to fertilize either donor egg or the surrogate egg. Once they have that idea, next thing we want to know is if they have somebody they already want to carry the child, or if we are to provide a surrogate for them. And if you'd want us to provide a surrogate for you, we have surrogate profile. So we have a number of surrogates. Usually we have them tested and all that already. So we will show pictures and all that. So you decide on which surrogate it is. If you have somebody already, then what we will be doing is to facilitate the process. And I remember mentioning in our last conversation that Misha was called out of a law firm. It's an entity on its own now, but we're still affiliated to that law firm. So we have that good relationship where we get lawyers to come in, where for either parties to work through the surrogacy agreements and all of those things to make sure that legally the entire process has been properly structured. And then once that is done, process is signed, the medical procedures, usually we have clients that want us to take care of the surrogate until they deliver. There are a lot of clients who don't even want to, and normally we don't put the surrogates and the intended parents together. So we go through that process. Once we know exactly what we'll be doing for the client who comes in, then we are able to take them through the process, whether taking care of surrogate until delivery or any other facets of surrogacy that we have to.
So what are the criteria that one needs to have to qualify them to be a surrogate? And what are the screening processes that you go through?
So the law requires that you have to be at least 25 years. So if you're 25 years, you qualify to be a surrogate. For me, between the age of 25 to 32, you have to fall within 35 to 32. We won't want older because of the medical issues that may come up. And so usually it's between 25 and 32. And then you should also have already had children, at least one child. You should have carried pregnancy to term and be taking care of that child. So if you have not had a child before, you do not qualify to be a surrogate. Oftentimes, if you've had a child before even, and that child for some reason is no longer around, is not alive, let me put it that way, you will not qualify to be a surrogate for me,
But for other agencies, a code.
Like I said, for now, currently, the laws on surrogacy, they are quite, so it's a bit lax. So it gives room for people to make their own adjustments. It won't be so for too long. But for me, some of these things, we pick them from what the system already has in place with regards to adoptions, so that because it's children, it's the lives of children, so we don't want to toy with these things. So we look at what the system requires for adoption. So sometimes, even with a single male, there are some very stringent hoops that you would have to go through to convince us and our legal persons, plus the counselors, that your intentions are clear, you're able to actually take care of a child, and you have help. You have your mom, or there's a woman that you're looking to marry that is going to be around to help you take care of the child, all of those things.
Okay. So what is the process, or what are the processes of matching surrogates to intended parents?
Right. So I mentioned that we have a surrogate profile. It's like a book that we have surrogates, information on every surrogate that is under Minshare. So usually when an applicant or an intended parent comes in, they complete the form and give us the preference of the surrogates that they're looking to carry their child for them. So we look at the preference that's been stated, and there are no limitations on the preferences. Some people want a particular body type. Some people want a particular tribe.
I heard IQs are even considered.
Sometimes they consider all of those things. Some people want someone that's already educated, and so we look at what the preferences are. We try to match surrogates. So we'll give you profiles on the surrogates that match your preference. If we have more than one or more than two, we present to you the profiles that match the preference you've given, and then you can make a choice based on the profiles that we've presented. Once the choice is made, there will be some basic medical tests that they would already have undergone as surrogates waiting to be matched with intended parents. Some of the basics: HIV, Hep B, there's hepatitis,
STDs.
various STDs. So that basic medical test that they would already have done. But once a surrogate is matched to intended parents, they go back to the hospital, and then more tests are run on them to confirm that they're still able to carry a child, carry to term, they're healthy as they were before, maybe months ago, maybe a couple of years ago, when they last did the tests and all of that, just to show that, just to confirm that they still are, for lack of a better word, viable to carry the pregnancy for the intended parent.
Okay. So can someone just come to your agency and then offer to be a surrogate? Just if the person matches these criteria, would the person automatically be considered and then be in the waiting list?
Not automatically considered. Yes, anyone at all, any female at all that falls within, especially the age of 25 and 32, can walk into our office or give us a call and say they want to be surrogates. However, we will do, once that interest is there, we'll undergo the medical tests, and also there's a whole conversation, counseling to be had before we put any surrogate in our profile and say they are surrogates in waiting. We need to be sure that they understand the process that they are going to go through. They understand what they are opting to give up, because for each surrogate, once you're matched with intended parents, you have to move from wherever you are and into accommodation provided by us until you put to birth, and even 6 weeks after, until you're medically cleared, and then you can go back to your home. So they have to be aware of all that they're going to be given up to go through this process for somebody. And so there's a whole conversation we have, counseling processes that they go through until we confirm that they're ready, they get it, and then we put them on our surrogate profile.
Okay. So with the medical checks and all that, do you fund it, or they would have to fund it themselves?
We fund the medical processes. Okay. Usually the basic ones, we fund them. Once they come on board, we do the medicals, and then we take them through the process that I'm saying. And then when there's an applicant, the more rigorous tests that is undergone, they would take care of those.
So what are the guidance and then the legal support you have in place for such your clients and then the surrogates within the process?
Well, usually there are times where clients come and they already have their legal persons, their lawyers, or the lawyer who's ready to go through the agreements and things with them. And so ours is to ensure that the surrogate is very well considered in whatever agreement is brought. And then there are times where they come and they want us to go through the entire process. Again, we go to our legal team and then they work out a very good agreement, surrogacy agreement between the two parties.
Sure.
So that, I mean, oftentimes the surrogate has to be very sure, very aware of what they're signing. And of course, the intended parents also has to be very aware of what they're signing. So yes, we try as much as possible. We do actually provide some legal guidance from our legal team with Roman Levy and Associates.
Okay, so what kind of emotional support do you also offer for these clients? Because both parties are definitely your clients.
Yes. So if intended parent walks in and we listen to them, their reasons and all of that, of course, we're also able to put them in touch with our counseling team, who will also take them through what emotional training emotional support processes they need to go through before the process is actually undertaken.
Okay, so how do you also ensure that the health and well-being of the surrogates especially are well taken care of, especially in the pregnancy term and all that?
Like I mentioned initially, usually once we match you, we match a surrogate to intended parents, you have to move from wherever it is that is your natural habitat or wherever you live, and be in a place accommodation where we've provided. So once you're there, everything is taken care of.
So you don't work, you don't do anything?
No.
Right from the first week of the, or right from
where we do medicals.
Okay.
Right from where we do medicals.
Okay.
So by the time you're coming for us to go to the hospital to go through the medical process, you would have settled in. And then we start the medical process. Between that time and until you're medically cleared after delivery, you are in this place where we've provided for you. You don't work, you don't do your day-to-day. No, we take care of the surrogate. So their medical checks, their entertainment, what they would eat, the feeding, everything that has to do with the surrogate and the pregnancy until they put to birth and until the surrogate has been medically cleared.
Okay.
Is on me share.
So are they allowed to also go out, mingle, or have people visit them, or they are confined at this space?
It's not a prison, let me say it like that. It's not they're not confined without any chance of going anywhere. It's not one like that. You see, it's an agreement that has been signed to. So whatever the movements are, whatever you want to do or whatever you can do is all documented in the agreement you sign. And that's why we take them through the counseling process. So whatever allowances they would like to be able to go out, mingle, have friends, have visitors and all that, they are usually spelled out in the agreement. What is okay for the surrogate to do, what is not okay for the surrogate to do. If it's okay for the surrogate to go and be with their family maybe for weekends, all of those things are usually spelled out and agreed on by both parties. So every part of the surrogacy process that is the surrogate is going to go through and the intended parent is going to go through is documented in that agreement for both parties to agree to before they sign. So whatever happens between the 9 months period and more or less 10 or so months period until they are medically cleared to go home, it's spelled out in the agreement. They would have agreed to it.
Okay, so all other things being equal, a surrogate shouldn't be spending. What about the client? How much should a client be looking? You can give me a range. How much should a client be looking at?
It will be difficult even to give you a range The surrogacy process is one that is, for lack of a better word, bespoke. A client may walk in and they've done all of their agreements and everything, and all they want is, I hear you have a home, put them there.
Babies.
Exactly. And then a client may come and I just want you to take care of everything for us. There are times where we look at the situation, we look at the surrogate, the intended parents, and what is pushing them to go through the process. And we decide that, okay, for this person, I think we can make certain concessions here and there to allow them to go through this process. Even with surrogate fees, it varies. So I'm not able to give a range of any sort, except that it's pregnancy. So if you're having somebody carry pregnancy for you, you need to be adequately prepared to ensure that they are comfortable doing this. I mean, it's a whole life that they will be growing in their body. There's all sorts of changes that come up. There's all sorts of risks and dangers that come with pregnancy between conception and delivery. So you need to be prepared to make, bridge the gap here and there. And yet it's not one that should also break the bank. So it's in the middle there.
Okay. So depending on the service you would want, that would determine how much you should be.
Yes.
So how do you maintain effective communications between the intended parents and then the surrogacy? Surrogate, sorry.
All of it is by choice and is stated in the agreement. There are times where the intended parent doesn't even want to know the name of the surrogate, or they don't want the surrogate to know their names. They want nothing
to do with
and oftentimes we encourage that. But there are also intended parents who decide that we want to be able to, be part of the journey, the pregnancy journey. We want to know how the surrogate is feeling and all that. So there are different options that we give. We could do a video. The surrogate can do a video maybe every 2 days or every morning to let you know how they're feeling in the morning without actually directly speaking to them. Or there could be maybe a phone conversation at a particular time of day each day. Maybe you'd prefer that it's supervised. So, but at all material times, our communication with the intended parent is always consistent.
So do you conduct some kind of research to know if the surrogate you're matching with the intended parents aren't connected with regards to family ties and all that before you do that? Because some people don't want to have anything to do with the surrogate. Just give birth for me. How sure are you that the person is not your sister or?
Well, for us, the question is just, so what if it's your sister? Because if this person wants to be a surrogate and they don't want a certain part of their family to know, by all means, somebody has to know that knows you, because then each surrogate has come with a guarantor. So somebody in your space has to know about this process. But maybe they don't want their mother and their father to know. They don't want their immediate family to know. Maybe there's an aunt somewhere that they've spoken to about this process, but maybe the immediate family doesn't know. But they want to be a surrogate and they're 25. And you want to have a child and you don't want your family to know that you're having a child through this process. And you don't want to have anything to... nothing stops the two from doing what they want to do. This person, nothing stops them from being a surrogate, and nothing stops this person from having a surrogate have a child for them. So we don't really delve into that part as much as, because it's an agreement they're signing, their names there. And then once we give you a surrogate profile, the surrogate's photograph is there, the surrogate's national ID is there. So if it's somebody you know, you would know. So that in the list of surrogates that match your preference that we have provided, you decide that, no, this person, I know them, I don't want them to. Or this person, I know them, I think they will be very good, they'll be a perfect fit. I just don't want them to know that I'm going through this process. So let this person carry, but let them not, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So what are the legal and ethical practices that this process requires, and how do you ensure that they are properly adhered to?
Great. I'm glad you asked that. I thought I was missing that part. I did mention that the laws on surrogacy currently are quite limited or
Flexible.
lax, yes, but the law still exists, and it exists in the Births and Deaths Registry Act. There's a portion of it that allows for assisted reproductive births, and under that is surrogacy, where it says that if an individual or a couple have a child through surrogacy, they're able to have somebody, once there's a surrogacy agreement between themselves and somebody above the age of 25 who is not, once the pregnancy is not one that they have had with a partner of theirs, so they can go through the process, have a child through surrogacy, where gamete is inserted into the surrogate, and then once pregnancy is confirmed, that child is after 12 weeks after, or within 12 weeks of pregnancy, you can go to court for what we call the pre-birth parental order. So once there is a surrogacy agreement, you're able to take that as an instrument, take it to court, and apply for a pre-birth parental order, which gives the intended parents the right to now become parents of that child to be born. So once the child is born, birth certificate is done in the name of the parents, and the parents of the child, because a court has given them that right, clothed them with that parentage right. Once the child is, say they didn't know or they didn't want to for whatever reason, and the 12-week gap has passed, then once the child is born, before the child turns 6 months, you're able to go to court for a post-birth parental order that clothes you with the parentage rights over that child. So to have your surrogacy agreement is not enough. You have to go to court because your surrogacy agreement makes you intended parents. That's the intention. And so you've had the pregnancy put together for you in that surrogate, whether gestational or traditional. You further go to court with your agreement as the instrument, as your evidence that this is what you've done, and so the court then clothes you with the rights as parents of the child to be born or the child so born.
So do you facilitate all of these processes, or there are some of the processes you leave for either of the parties to go through themselves and then come back with the results?
Usually we facilitate the process. We facilitate the process because for us at Minshe, we're one-stop shop sort of place, so there's no point where we leave you on your own, leave you confused, and I got this from there and I don't know what to do from here on out. We're not in the business of that. So once you come to us, we want to ensure that we see you through and through. So when you go home and you take your child home, you know that everything has been taken care of. Okay. So usually we see it through till the end.
A lot of people have this mentality that surrogates get a lot of money. After the whole process, they become very, very established. Is that true? And can you give us a range of, in monetary terms, how much you should expect after the process is done?
A lot of times, I'm quick to say that when you hear the surrogacy, but a lot of people just see money when they hear surrogacy. But pregnancy is a difficult thing. It's a dangerous thing. So oftentimes I say don't listen to the money. And I tell a lot of people that come into my office and say want to be surrogates, don't listen to the money. Pay attention to everything else. And then the money. You know, somebody may get into the surrogacy process because they want to further their education, and the amount of money they need to be able to even make the step, they are not able to find jobs that will give them that. And so, okay, what's the lump sum you're going to give me for this process I'm going to go through? Will it help me be able to put in my first year fees? You know, so it's relative, honestly.
So in general, what is your advice you would give to individuals or intending parents who are trying to, you know, go through the process of surrogacy?
If you find yourself in a situation or position where you feel that it will be best for you to have somebody carry pregnancy for you, I think that it's a good idea to have a further conversation about it, to understand what the process you want to undergo is and what to expect financially, the financial implications also, so that once you take the step, you are certain for yourself that you're doing what is right for you and for that child that you want to bring into the world. And for anybody that is considering going through the surrogacy process, it's not a bad thing. You want to be sure that what you're getting into, you don't leave, you don't finish it and
regret,
are full of regret. So like I mentioned, for us at Minshe, the surrogate, just much like the intended parent, the surrogate is very dear to our hearts. We ensure that every surrogate is very well taken care of. So have a conversation about it. Come in and let's discuss it so that you are sure of what you want to do, and then we can find you very good intended parents who you can help and who can also be impactful in your life.
Okay, so how can someone get in touch with you?
Mishe, our office we're located at Kanda. We're located at Kanda, around the Kanda Club 10 or around the Kanda Post Office. We can be found on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Minshe Child and Family Welfare Services. Our phone number, you can reach us on 0551 546400. 0551 546400. Whatever your inquiries are, whatever your questions are, whatever you want to do, once it is child and family welfare related, just get in touch with us and we will ensure that we are able to serve you and serve you very well.
Oh, thank you very much. That was a very deep conversation. I've learned a lot. And I can't wait to have you on the show with another topic. So this is where we draw the curtains. Until we see you next time, it's bye.